ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यदविद्याविलासेन भूतभौतिकसृष्टयः तं नौमि परमात्मानं सच्चिदानन्दविग्रहम्. Okay, so before we took a break, we were dealing with the nature of error. Okay. And we also saw the difference between what Nyaya talks about as error and what Vedanta talks about as error. Okay. An erroneous perception, as far as Vedanta is concerned, it is not just a mistaking. Remember, it is erroneous perception. So when you are talking about perception, you have to understand one thing, that you are actually seeing something. If you are seeing something, you can call it an illusion, all that thing. In this example, it is valid. There is something present there actually. In Nyaya, the error is established by what is known as visamvadi pravrti. This also we saw. Fruitless activity. There is samvadi pravrti, visamvadi. Visamvadi is the thing which is fruitless. I thought it was a coin, I bent to pick it up, it turned out to be shell. So what is the use of my activity? Nothing. If I wanted to a shell and I bent down to pick up a shell, that is samvadi activity, useful activity. Why? I wanted a shell. Yeah, so you understand what it is. But if an erroneous perception is proved by visamvadi pravrti, okay, fine. Then the question comes up, what is the nature of error? In Nyaya, it is confusing two perceptions. The silver you have seen is what is sitting in your home in the cupboard. The shell is here. They say you have just mistaken these two. Anyata khyati it is called. In Vedanta we say no. It is not memory. You are not remembering. You are actually seeing the shell there. When you are seeing the shell there, it implies there is an actual perception. So even if what is there was shell, but you saw silver, your mind is projected as silver. So that is what the whole explanation he gave about how the ignorance, etc., creates the silver. Yeah, this is what I am saying. It is called anirvachaneya khyati. Why anirvachaneya khyati? Because the silver that you saw on the shell cannot be categorized as real. If it is real, when you pick it up also it will remain real. No? It cannot be called as non-existent because you saw it. If it is non-existent, you wouldn't see it. Remember, it's important to know this. That silver that you saw on the shell, if the silver is non-existent, you would not see it. Not there, you would not see it. What is there? Shell. I don't know what is there. Something is there. Okay. But no, you saw the silver. Okay. Asat chet na pratiti. If it was asat, there will be no perception of it. Non-existent. Sat chet, if it was real, na bhadyate. It would not be negated. Therefore, sat asat bhyam anirvachaniyam is in between sat and asat. It is called anirvachaniya khyati. Clear about this? Same way happens with respect to the Atma. I know I am. Aham is known. Look at the conditions. Aham is known. There, idam is known. In the shell, idam is known. That it is shell is not known. Here, aham is known, but aham Sachidanandatma is not known. Therefore, what do? You have a notion about what you are. You actually project a notion. The ahankara is a projection of ignorance. Yeah, it's a projection. Sat asatbhyam anirvachaniyam. You can't take the ahankara as real, you can't take it as not there. The same thing comes there also. Remember, the projection is of the ahankara. First, everything else later. Ahankara, I thought, what am I? Make a decision. Yeah. Make some conclusions. Therefore, the ahankara actually is a projection. Satasadbhyam anirvachaniyam. Exactly like the rope snake, etc. Useful, yeah, useful. Yeah. Usefulness does not make it real. In fact, whatever you find as useful is not real. Yeah. Usefulness should be a definition of what is not real. But you can't keep that general definition because pratibhasika things are not real. Only there's a difference between pratibhasika and vyavaharika. What do you say useful is vyavaharika. But pratibhasika is also anirvachaniyam, like the rope snake. Okay. Kurta is vyavahara yogyam, but projection. See, we don't stop to think. It's important to see this clearly. That this kurta that you are wearing is a clear projection, isn't it? But when you say projection, you will think it's imagined. No. There must have been some physical activity for the projection. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. That's why to make it easier in the beginning, I call it conceptual. Because you conceived of it. No? It's purely conceptual. Something that you have taken as a concept and say, this is it. Because if you are not conceived of a kurta, you can never make it. How will you make it? Even conceiving is difficult. Atma with?
That point of view, mixed perception in Tarka, how do they
same thing. Because for them, Atma is not limitlessness. Ahankara is a functioning entity for them.
So Ahankara is real, Atma is
Yeah,
real.
yeah. No, exactly. It comes in the categories. It comes in the 24 categories it comes in. No? So, Padartha and all that will come in. Padartha, Guna, etc. उसमें सब आ जाएगा सब. So that's why the Tarka is basically a dualistic school. It's dualistic. No? It's not non-dualistic. It's a dualistic school. That's why the whole issue comes up. That's why we study Tarka only for the logical part, just to train our minds into the logic part. Okay. Okay. So he had made the statement that with respect to the shell, the silver is vivartam. With respect to the ajnanam, the silver is parinama. It's an interesting difference that you will make here. You don't bother to make this difference when you are studying Vedanta in the beginning because it doesn't matter. With respect to the Atma, the Ahankara is vivartam, doesn't change to become the Atma. It only appears as the Ahankara. But with respect to your ignorance, the ignorance is modified into form of your Ahankara. Okay. Yeah.
Amji, can you just repeat that?
Yeah, I'll repeat that. With respect to the Atma, Ahankara is vivartam. Vivartam meaning an apparent change. With respect to your ignorance, it's a real change. Parinama. Now that is accepting the difference about parinama and vivarta, okay, which the later writers of Vedanta brought into the picture. The later writers of Vedanta brought in vivarta and parinama to explain away the how Brahman appeared as the world. To explain away that, they brought into the picture. As far as the Upanishad is concerned, it doesn't make that difference. When you say Sadeva Saumya Idamakramasi, then Vikaro Namadeyam, Mritikeva Satyam. Therefore, what is Vikara. And in my classes, I have also shown that all Vikara is also finally Vivarta only. Parinama or Vikara is also not real change. You make that real change and apparent change for the sake of Vyavahara. Because with what is Vivartam, you can't have Vyavahara. Rope snake, what Vyavahara you can? But pot clay, Vikara. Therefore, with pot you can have a Vyavahara. So, just to explain Vyavahara, you brought in the idea of Parinama and Vikara. So, we will say, it is because of the Parinama of Ajnanam, it is Vyavahara Yogyam. Because the Parinama of Maya Shakti, it is Vyavahara Yogyam. Upanishad doesn't bother. I also in my teaching don't bother so much about it. Everything is anyway. Look at it. The example they will give is milk becoming curds is Parinama. Really? It is an irreversible change, accepted. But does that make the change real? Not at the molecular level, not at the atomic level. It's only at the surface level when you are looking at it. So that's why the Upanishad is Vikaro Namadeyam. All Vikaras only name and form. At what level of name and form you are taking, that's all you have to bother. You have to bother only about what level of name and form it is. Key farak painde? What's the difference? Doesn't make a real difference. But here, in some of the technical aspects of it, you make a difference, and that's what they have done in this book. Okay. Any other questions or clear? Yeah. With respect to the Atma, Ahankara is Vivarta. No real change in the Atma to make the Ahankara. With respect to Ajnanam, it is Parinama. Because Ajnanam has modified itself to present itself as the Atma. Because there is an entity there. No? See, there is a functioning entity available. The reality of the entity is the reality of the Atma, Adhisthana. But that name and form and that, all that is avidya, product of avidya. Adhyaropa. Yep. The whole thing, Vivarta, Parinama, both are Adhyaropas.
Yes, but at the
Yeah.
about manifestation and all, because in Vyavahara,
See,
if I'm understanding
when we talk about manifestation, etc., we are sidestepping this Parinama Vikara. We are not making the difference. Okay? We are not making the difference. We are treating the whole thing as one apparent change only. Because the standpoint I take in Vedanta is all change is apparent. No change is real. That's what the Upanishad also take. Then later Vedanta writers made this difference to explain away Vyavahara. They had to explain Vyavahara. So because of that they did it. They had to deal with arguments from Tarka, etc. So you dealt with that way.
we use this Swamiji as Vivarta Upadana Karma.
Huh.
So then now how is it used?
So, Atma is Vivarta Upadana Karanam for the Jagat. Okay? Vivartam, no real change. Apparently, it manifested itself as the world. Vivartam. As far as avidya is concerned, Maya Shakti is concerned, it is Parinama. That's why you will talk about the Panchabhuta model for creation. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, all coming from You know, the whole Vedanta Sara, if you look at it, the whole detailed explanation of how creation took place. Why? Parinamavada. As far as avidya is concerned, Maya Shakti is concerned. As far as Atma is concerned, it is this. I didn't say body is Jiva Srishti. Yeah. Yeah. Does your ahankara survive your death? Huh? Yeah. Ahankara, body does not survive ahankara. Therefore, is it Jiva Srishti?
So how Sarkar will set this argument?
Tarka doesn't use that argument. Tarka is not involved in establishing Advaita. Tarka deals with all your Vyavaharika that you have seen. Yeah, like science. So the same way here. See, all that is universally available is Ishvara Srishti. What you make out of it is Jiva Srishti. How come this has gone again? Don't tell me. I have to change. 11:30 April हो गया तो कभी कभी हो जाता है. Let's come back. Okay.
Swamiji, we can't hear you or see you.
You can't see me also? You can't see me now? Or you can hear me but not see me?
Yeah, now I can hear you but can't see.
Okay, hold on. Let me change over my network. Okay. I thought it was a bright, clear day. The network will function, but it is not functioning. So just let me change. Okay. Coming on, 1, 2, 3, coming on. What is that? That Kachika is a problem in your because of the reflection shining you can't see. That's an explanation for how the projection takes place. He is explaining how the projection is taking place. Come on, yeah, Motoji, come on, you come on, full thing. It's full coverage here. क्या problem हो गया? अभी आया. Now it should come on. Okay, I am back. Are you all back? Okay.
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay.
Yes, Swami.
Yes, Swami.
Now you can see and hear both. Okay. So,
Swamiji, can I request you to repeat the query that came and the answer? We just didn't catch any of
no, it was just something about parinama and vivarta. That's all. Nothing much. Yeah. Yeah. So, any other questions before I go ahead?
We don't make any division for what you're saying is basically we don't get much into this.
No.
Vivarta, parinama, we basically say that.
Correct. We don't bother too much about parinama and vikara. Partly thanks to modern science. We don't have to bother too much about it. Okay? Yeah.
And also you said that those changes are apparent changes.
Yeah, we will say both vikara and parinama both are apparent. Though vikara is vyavahara yoga, parinama is vyavahara yoga, vikara may not be. That's the way they took. In the medieval ages, after the Upanishads, etc., the last 300, 400 years, where this book, etc., has come up, 16th century, something like that. So, in all this, they took these things into account. Yeah. Because science was very in a nascent condition at that time. So, Vikara, the older Upanishads didn't bother about Vikara and Parinama. Yeah. They used it all indicate Vikara and Vivarta. Vikara and Parinama are one and the same. Vikara and Vivarta. They didn't bother, they interchanged the whole thing and used it. Because all change is mithya anyway. The moment you say change, it becomes mithya. So that was the stand the Upanishads took. And that's a good stand to take. But when you are answering arguments from other disciplines, etc., sometimes you may have to make a difference. Therefore, even in Vedanta Sara, we have seen, I think audio version is available on the net, not the video version, that Swaswarupa Parityagena Rupantara Pattihi is Parinama. Giving up its own nature and becoming something else is called Parinama. Milk becoming curds. Once it has become curds, you can't put it into your coffee. And you can people put all sorts of stuff into the coffee. Yeah. They do. Have you had bullet coffee? They put a slab of butter into the coffee. I mean, applicable only if you are going to the Arctic Pole or the Antarctic Pole or something, because you need more calories to keep your body warm. So how are you going to get extra calories? That's one thing. So that's Vikara, that is Vikara or Parinama. Then Vivarta, what is that? Swaswarupa Aparityagena Rupantara Pattihi. Without giving up your own nature, appearing as something else. That is called Vivarta. Like rope snake, for example. The rope, without giving up its nature as rope, appears as the snake. Now the problem will come in between when you go by this definition. What will you call the kurta? The cloth has given up, no? Because the cloth is not in the shape of a kurta. Cloth is just a roll. But has it given up its swarupa at the same time? Cotton is cotton. This is linen. Linen is linen. It doesn't change. So can you see with this definition, thoda gadbad ho jata, in between ho jata. That's why the Upanishads forget this vikara, all this stuff. Everything is vikara. All change is called vikara, and all change is mithya anyway. Yeah. If you are looking only at the form, this becomes mithya. Milk and curds, if you look at a little molecular level, it becomes mithya anyway. All change is mithya. Itna hi baat hai. So it doesn't bother about that.
Just to explain examples.
Exactly. So remember, now in these type of text, you will get a lot of explanations like this, meant for certain standpoints, etc. Yeah.
Actually, what will it be? Parinama or Vivarta?
Which one?
Either
Yeah, you can't. Exactly. That's why Rupantaram happened or Rupantara has happened. But Swaswarupa Parityaga or Aparityaga? Yeah. Either way, both are considered mithya. So, not a problem. Yeah. Okay. Now, he gives a slight different explanation here. Slightly, in technical definition for Parinama and Vivarta. So, let us look at what he has to say. This is called wrestling with Vedanta, okay? You wrestle with it so you become stronger. Okay, yeah. He says, Parinamo nama upadana samasattaka karyapattihi. What is Parinama? You have created something else which has the same degree of reality as the upadana karana. Parinama. Why? Same degree of reality as cloth. Upadanam. Okay. Now that you can be again open to question. Again it can be open to question. Is it really kurta? Does it have a same degree of reality as upadanam? No. If I unstitch the whole thing, cloth is there, but kurta is not there. Okay? Then you will have to ask, what is parinama? Then you will have to present chemical change as parinama. Or you will have to present irreversible change as parinama. Because once it has become curds, you can't get milk out of it back, as far as the present technology is concerned. 50 years from today, you may invent an atomic mishmasher. What is that atomic mishmasher? Simple. What do you have with you? I have some gold. What do you want? Some platinum. Gold, put a few levers and this thing, automatically platinum will come out of there. What do you want? Iron. What do you have? Some silver. Put into it, atomic change happens and then it comes out with... You may get a machine like that. Why not? You know, the whole diamond industry now is based on lab created diamonds. So they were considered previously artificial diamonds, zircons, and they were not had the value. So now the diamond business, they started calling it lab created diamonds, not artificial diamonds. These diamonds are real, but they are lab created. If you can do that, why can't you create an atomic mishmasher? You may call it something more sophisticated name. I am just taking the first thing that came out of my head. Atomic mishmasher. Yeah, back. I got curd, put it back into milk again. You can. I have water, turn it into milk. Atomic change, everything can happen. Yeah, at atomic level, right, Rohit? At atomic level, change is not really there. Hey, Jesus did that, no? Created water into wine. So, molecular, yeah, deeper level you can go, it will happen. Particle level, let it go. Why not? Ayo, Toba, I am Tambrams Swami. I will change wine into water. That's a bluff. I know a lot of Tambrams who enjoy their drinks very much. A lot of Tambrams, you know. Big deal. Just a drink. But their community is considered orthodox, therefore you don't. Ancient time, how was this visualized that there is no real change in milk? Yeah, at the Upanishad level you understood that setup, that the change that is created, all change is apparent. Yeah. See, now two things. When you say at the Upanishad level, they knew that all change is apparent. Either they understood it dialectically, okay, conceptually, or you can say there was some sort of technology. Because the Western model is a linear model. So knowledge keeps developing from generation to generation to generation. So linear. Whereas many of the Oriental models are cyclical in nature. So the cycle, peak of creation, then it goes down, then it comes up again into another peak. So we are supposed to be at the lowest ebb of knowledge, wisdom, creativity, technology, everything. Okay? Satya Yuga was supposed to be the highest. Cyclical nature, because everything in nature is cyclic. The problem is when you are looking at the Indian texts available, from the Western model, you can't imagine that they had advanced technology. Because the Western model is linear. How did they have it at that time? Whole world was promoting. So they can't relate to that. That's why they put Mahabharata, Ramayana, etc. as myths, mythology, not as history. Whereas we take it as history. We take all that is said there as fact. We don't say it's not a fact. Yeah, we take it as fact. But then the facts include things that we can't explain from our modern knowledge. So they are not responsible for that. If you can't explain it, how can they be held responsible? Yeah.
You can also say it was because of Shraddha, no, Swamiji?
Not only Shraddha, it requires something more than Shraddha. Something more. Because you have to study the whole creation as cyclic. No? Because there is a logical presentation there, because everything in creation is cyclic. If you look at nature, everything is cyclic. Why should whole of nature be cyclic and only Indian evolution be lateral? In the whole thing, everything in nature is cyclic in this thing. The seasons, the solar system, the planets, the galaxies, everything moves on a cyclic pattern. Then how come human beings are taken as linear perception, not cyclic? It doesn't stand to logic. So it's just a little bit more than Shraddha. Yeah. And certain things are being validated also. That's another thing that happens. Yeah. Now they are agreeing that the Rama Setu is a man-made thing. But until now they are not agreed. Now they are agreeing to that. So you could build a bridge at that time across. Yeah. Vanaras did it. Vanaras had an engineering knowledge. Now how do you believe that? Because look at it. You translate Vanara like monkey. Once you translate Vanara as monkey, then you say how can they have that knowledge? Are you getting the idea? Vanaras were a tribe of people, not monkeys. That's why I don't like to translate Hanuman as monkey god. No, this is Vanara. It is an alternate human being. It is humanoid. Yeah. And they had two things which is... Yeah. Yeah. And they had two things which they were very well known for, the Vanaras. If you're looking at it historically. Vanaras were very good with technology even though they lived in the forest. And with healing. They were the forerunners of Ayurveda. So two things Vanaras were very good in. If you look into Itihasa literature, healing and technology. Technology using natural resources. So,
I'm just asking a question out of
yeah.
curiosity. So, Vanaras are their description and how they look.
Yeah.
They actually look like monkeys. Is it there in Ramayana?
They looked more like human beings, but little different. Therefore, the term Vanara came from Sanskrit. Naro va naraha. Is he human being or something similar? Naro va naraha. Or something else. Because they had a tail, exactly. Yeah. They had a tail, that much is described.
Valmiki's Ramayana?
Yeah, Valmiki is described like this. Yeah, exactly. Naro va naraha. Is it a human being or something similar to a human being? Therefore, something similar was called Vanara. The difference was only because they had a tail. And the facial structure was slightly different. They are extinct. They are extinct. As a race, they are extinct.
There is a monkey brigade which army employs.
Huh?
There is a monkey brigade which army employs.
There is a?
Monkey brigade in the army.
That was independence stage. Nah, that's something that came maybe during the British times. Yeah. So that is one thing. In terms of Vanara was concerned. Yeah. Similarly, the Nagas who lived on the earth. Yeah, there's a description of Nagas, human-like being, but look different in their movement and everything. You don't know. We are talking about prehistoric times, okay? Prehistoric times. Before modern history came into being. How can you have built the Kailasa temple Ajanta Ellora, okay? How could I build the temple without technology? Impossible. On by hand chipping and carving, you can't build the temple. Because from top down you have built it. You are not built from bottom up. You have built it top down. The whole rock has been carved into a temple. How did they do such fine work without technology using hammer and chisels? How did they give some things are polished so smooth without technology? How do you polish that like that? Not with hand. Not with hand. So, we don't know. Yeah, true. Top-down building is the most difficult thing, except technologically wise, it's the most difficult. Bottom. That's why everything you construct is bottom up. Yeah. Not top down. Upadana samasattaka. Upadana karanam, material. The same degree of reality as the material should be there. Then it is called parinama. So whatever you are creating, like for example, curd, should have the same degree of reality as the material that was used. What is the material used? Milk. So milk and curd have same degree of reality. No? Completely different things, but same degree of reality. No, this is a definition of Vedanta. And vivarto nama upadana vishama satta karya apattihi. Whereas vivarta is what? Upadana vishama satta karya apattihi. The karya, the effect is of a different degree of reality compared to the upadana karma. Vivarta, no real change. Rope snake. The snake has a different degree of reality. You can apply that to kurta also. In this case, you can apply it. Why? The kurta does not have the same degree of reality as the cloth. Correct? Does the kurta... Huh? No. Can you say kurta has got the same degree of reality as the cloth? So what is the thing that you are calling kurta? So what is the thing that you are calling cloth? Out of the two, which is more real? Exactly. Therefore, degree of reality as far as cloth and... No, 1 second. As far as cloth and kurta is concerned, it is not the same degree of reality. Kurta is only name and form of cloth. Cloth in this form is called a kurta. Another form it is called dhoti. Same cloth. Can you see that? Yeah, golden ornament, same thing.
When we talk of degree of reality, we are not talking about reality and manifestation. Object and a shadow.
So apply a definition now. You have a definition of parinama, you have a definition of vivarta, which is applied to the kurta. Normally we will say kurta is vikara, parinama, but I am challenging that because it does not have the same reality. Kurta is only name and form. Vasharamnam vikaro namadeyam. You are given, it's a vikara, but you because only you are given a name. When a designer looks at the kurta, you think really he looks at the name form so much? Material, kya hai? Why does it fall like that? Can the fall be improved upon? I have to use a different material. Yeah, yeah. I told you to answer because scientific knowledge was limited at this time, in between time. Remember, that's why the whole discussion went to Vanaras and everything. Because scientific knowledge was limited in the last few hundred years, these two definitions came up. So that you could explain away to the masses. Hey, ये तो विकार है, ये तो विवर्त है, ठीक है.
Swamiji, I didn't understand before what Kavika. What was your question?
I didn't ask any question.
No, you
I
was
said,
there.
I
How is
said,
it the parinama?
yeah, see, the kurta, what is it that you're calling a kurta? Cloth in this form. No? So the kurta is dependent on the cloth totally. Therefore, does it have the same reality as cloth? Take milk and curds. Curds have an independent entity apart from milk. Different form, different function, different, everything is different. Molecular structure is different, everything is different. What about kurta and cloth? Can it be the same? Kurta can be reversed into the cloth. You open up all the stitches, you will get cloth. Whereas, can the curds be reversed into milk? Not yet. So at the present, that's why I'm saying this is where the whole thing came in. At the present degree of scientific knowledge and technology, that will be called parinama, this will be called vivarta. Present degree of knowledge and technology. Scientific knowledge and technology. That's why ancient days Upanishad didn't bother. Everything, all changes mithya, apparent. Vikara, vivarta difference he didn't make. Either they had scientific knowledge or dialectical knowledge of the same thing. Didn't matter. They knew. Now we know we don't have to make a difference. In between there was a phase of low scientific knowledge where they made this difference. Because remember, vikara, vivarta and all these things came up only to explain away the difference between realities. What is functional reality, what is not functional. So it came up only for that.
Vivarta is manifestation.
Again you are confusing. I am saying everything is manifestation.
Yeah.
So in the manifestation, how you are making a difference? What is vikara, what is parinama? Within the structure. Yeah.
Swamiji, for the rope snake, they should give another term for it because that is completely apparent.
Which one?
Rope and snake.
Yeah. So that's why. So their illusion, etc. is fine. See, we take, look at it. If we take the kurta as real, that is adhyasa. Mistake. Correct? If you take the snake as real, that's also adhyasa. Both are adhyasa. The question is at what level is adhyasa function? This adhyasa has vyavahara yogitvam. That adhyasa does not have vyavahara yogitvam. That's the only difference. Therefore, that will be called pratibhasika. This will be called vyavaharika.
But the rope and the snake, when we look at that for example, then the manifestation, the degrees of reality of both of them are definitely not the same.
Correct.
But when you look at kurta and cloth, the
It's a
tangibility
lesser
is-
degree.
it is
So the question of lesser degree, Baba.
lesser.
Yeah, question of lesser degree. Gold and ornaments. Yeah, lesser degree, that's all. Same like kurta only. No? Yeah, same thing. Lesser degree. Yeah. One is just a chunk of gold. The other is an ornament. Yeah, same thing. A lump of clay and pot, same thing. A lump of gold and ornaments, lump of clay and pots. So this vikara parinama thing is not absolute. These divisions are not absolute. It is just for explaining certain things. We tend to go by categorization and make it like clear cut. This is it, this is it. That's why I always tell you study Vedanta non-categorically. This problem is coming because we are trying to categorize. This is this, this is this. There are only definitions, there is no categorization. Definitions for standpoints.
So Swamiji, for a wise man,
Yeah.
it won't really matter whether it is Vyavarika because both
Because
are manifested.
it's all an appearance anyway. It's all an appearance. Everything. It's all an appearance. Whether you call it vikara, parinama, at what level you are taking it, all that, the whole thing is mithya anyway. So, what difference does it make? The whole thing is mithya. Now, within that mithya, you are creating degrees because functioning is dependent on all that. No? I can function with the kurta, I can use it. I can't function with the snake that I saw on the rope. I can't put the snake into my bag and go and become a snake charmer. I can't. Yeah. For that I need what you call a real snake. Real snake? Either real. That's also false only. But vyavahara yogitvam is there.
So for a wise person,
Yeah.
Error can be seen as from what standpoint, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it will come
Yeah.
and end actually.
Exactly like how for you the flat earth appears. It's an appearance. Flat earth is not really flat. It's round. But for all functional purposes it's flat. For most functional, I can't say all functional. When you are plotting a flight, you have to take the curvature of the earth into account. The shortest flight is not always a straight line on the map. Yeah, when you are traveling by the ship, it is the same thing. You can't go by straight lines. It's always curved. It's always curved. Yeah. Can you imagine? This is how the pure mithya works. You are flying along the equator, one point to point. Straight line is like this. Curved line. But this curved line is shorter than this straight line because the circumference of the earth is bigger at the equator. Whereas if you take a 20-degree curve, you will get a shorter. So whether you are flying or whether you are going by ship, you will take the curved line. Both lines are curved actually speaking. Which is the lesser curve is the question. What looks straight line, only on a 2D map it looks like a straight line. On 3D earth both are curved lines. Just a question of perception. If you understand this, a lot of things are easy then. Yeah. Just Pratibhasaka does not. No, Pratibhasaka does not have Vyavahara Yogita, correct? What is Pratibhasakam does not have Vyavahara Yogita. Okay, again you can't make a watertight compartmentalization. Why? You got a dream. In the dream you cried. And the morning you found your pillow is wet. Exactly where if you had turned the eyes would have come. Same place. What does it indicate? Your Pratibhasika dream had some effect on your Vyavaharika. No? Some sort of. Not complete. It's not watertight compartments. You saw the snake and your heartbeat is going faster. Because adrenaline is being pumped into your system. No? The adrenaline release will happen at a real or imagined threat. Yeah, so that much Vyavahara Yogitam it has. You look, where is my stick gone? Yeah. Or you are a passive Hindu. No, don't go that side. Hindus have become so passive, they are good for nothing. ऐसा हो गया. Or you are a religious Hindu. थोड़ा दूध लेके आओ, offer करेगा snake. Well, Pratibhasika. But your response is there. That's why then Tarkika says, with samvadi pravarti. If your pravarti is not fruitful, it is Pratibhasikam. He has got some truth in it. There is some truth in it. With samvadi. Useless activity. Your activity is not true. Bean bajaya. The snake doesn't respond. Om Nageshwaraya Namaha, Doodh pilao, doesn't respond. Take a steak and whack it, doesn't respond. With samvadi pravrti, you find there is not a snake. There is no snake there.
Somebody, what is the meaning of Samvadi?
Yeah?
What is the meaning of Samvadi? Samvadi means what?
With samvadi. Doesn't the activity pravrti is with samvadi, does not produce any result. Useless. You want to get confused further? Some mithya, even though it is delusional, like rope snake, can produce good results. Those of you who studied Panchadashi with me, it says a ship is struggling to navigate. Okay? Struggling to navigate. And there they saw lighthouse, there's land there. So navigate. Now you got some bearings and you know. So the ship berthed and went to find the light keeper to see. They found it was the light from a temple, not a lighthouse. So they mistook the temple to be lighthouse. But pravrti was this is called, this Brahma leads you to the truth. Leads you to what is correct, he says. है ना यार, होता है ना होता है हाँ samadhi, yeah. Samadhi Brahma it is called. It's called, even though it is Brahma, an erroneous conclusion, it was Samadhi. It created proper.
Can I use this example that while trekking I'm lost in the desert, I see the mirage and then like I walk and find you.
Finally it comes to water. Yeah. Exactly. Samadhi Brahma.
Brahma.
It was Brahma, erroneous conclusion, but it led you to fruitful activity. Falling in love is similar, okay? Pure Brahma, what the person is, but Samadhi. Yeah, fruitful result. Na? You got married, you had a kid, everything, all that happened. Samadhi Brahma, okay. Anyway, so that is where the...
What is the English translation of Samvadi and Visamvadi?
Beg your pardon?
English words. What are the English words for Samvadi and are there?
You can say fruitful activity, resulting in fruitful activity or fruitless activity.
Okay.
Visamvadi fruitless, Samadhi fruitful.
Samvadi fruit.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Then Vivarto Nama Upadana Vishma Satta. Okay, different Satta that we have seen. Pratibhasika Rajatam Cha Avidya Apekshaya Parinama Hayati. The Pratibhasika Rajatam, the silver that you saw on the shell, with respect to the avidya, is called Parinama. That means your ignorance about the shell created the silver. Therefore, it is called Parinama. Chaitanya Apeksha Vivartaha. With respect to the Chaitanyam or with respect to the shell also you can say, it is Vivartam because it is not really changed. Why Chaitanyam is using? Because Chaitanyam is Adhishtanam for the shell also. Therefore, he is using the word Chaitanyam. Avidya Parinama Rupascha Tad Rajatam Avidya Adhishtane Idam Avchinna Chaitanye Vivartate it should be. Okay. Vivartate. Asmanmate sarvasyapi karyasya so upadana avidya adhishtana ashritatva niyama. And he says avidya parinama rupascha tad rajatam avidya adhishtane. The rajatam is based on avidya, ignorance. Idam avchanya chaitanyam vartate. Avidya which is based on idam avchanya chaitanyam. Why? Because asman mate sarvasyapi karyasi. In Vedanta, all the karyam effect. So upadana avidya adhishtana ashrita niyama. all effects in Vedanta is based on the avidya of the adhisthana. If you take the pot as real, important, pot is real. What is the pot based on? The reality of the pot is based on the avidya of the clay. And what is the adhisthana of that avidya? Both the individual and the clay. Because with respect to the clay, no? But it resides in an individual. Yeah. If you take the kurta as real, same thing. If you take it as real. If you take it as mithya, there is no avidya there. There is only an appearance. If you understand it, it's only an appearance. If you don't understand it, it's a reality. See, a child will take the pot as real, separate from clay. That is mud. This is pot. See my nice pot. So for them it is clear cut. For once you know, you don't take it as avidya, etc. You take it as mithya, that's it, and leave it at that. So again, it depends upon standpoint. The whole manifestation is what? Avidya kritam, maya kritam. Based on what? Satyam jnanam anantam brahma. The whole thing is an appearance. Once you know, the whole thing is an appearance. But when you are dealing with creation, you are taking everything as real and dealing with it. Avidya kritam. Yeah, avidya kritam. You may question the reality of it. But as long as you are using your five senses to know the reality and your pancha pramanas to know it, you are still an avidya only. You know? Avidya vilasam, exactly. That's why he said, Yad avidya vilasena bhuta bhautika srishtaya. The play of avidya, the vilasaha, the spreading out. Vilasa, another name is spreading out. Like spreading out a net. Spread out the whole play. So with that, yes. So remember all this, vikara, vivarta, all that, all to explain standpoints. In no study of Vedanta should you make it categorical and say this is like this is not like that. They are all explaining from standpoints only. If you don't take that as standpoint, then you will get into problems. Because your later understanding will contradict your previous understanding. Yeah. Then by that logic, you should teach only the Brahma Sutras. Don't teach Tattva Bodha. But that doesn't work. You can't jump into that. That's why if you notice, that's the only thing that I kept password protected on the YouTube. I should remember the password, maybe bhul jayega. That's why I told one or two other people also. Hey, this is, remember it. Yeah.
Yes, 2016.
Brahma Sutras, only those who have attended it, I will give the password. Or those who finish all the Upanishads, I will give the password. Because Brahma Sutras can be very, very confusing. As confusing of this, or if not more. This थोड़ा confusion होगा, problem नहीं है. Vedanta Paribhasa नहीं समझाना, ठीक है, मत समझो. But Brahma Sutras you can't नहीं समझेगा, it's okay. Therefore I keep it like that. I don't, yeah. I finish the Upanishad, then I'll open it up to you. Open it up meaning, I will give you the password. Okay, yeah. Okay, Sarvasya. Okay. Almost 25. Good place to stop. We will build on it. There is a Purva Paksha. Because the Chaitanya is Adhishtanam for everything. What is not Chaitanya Adhishtanam? That's the idea. Basically, what are we trying to understand? Whether it's Tattva Bodha or Vedanta Paribhasha. Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma, Aham Asmi. That's what we are trying to understand. So the whole explanation, all that will be to make that clear. Here, from the standpoint of epistemology, we are looking at it. Yeah, because that's an important dimension of knowing the truth. Because it's the question of knowing, therefore you should know something about epistemology. The simplified version, I put it up on the YouTube. Epistemology is simplified. There are 5-6 lectures on it. That's a very simple version. This is a more complex version.
Only Tattva people say
There is nothing like Maya and Tarka. So, good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.